State on some injuries. Thielen and Zadarius Smith both returned from being checked out for knee contusions. Dalvin Tomlinson with a right calf. We'll send him for an MRI. Pretty hopeful on that one. We'll just see the timeline. He's been so big for us, contributor for us, that we hope to have back as soon as possible. I'll keep you guys updated on that one. And then late there on the touchdown pass to KJ Osborne, Irv Smith got rolled up. He was kind of in a protection against an all-out pressure, and they got a little ankle there. We'll send him for the MRI as well, and I'll keep you guys updated there. But just in summary, a lot to kind of unpack from this football game. Coming out of the bye, we had a real mindset of wanting to run the football, continue to establish the different types of core runs that we want to be features in our offense. Very excited to give Dalvin Cook a game ball for his first 100-yard game, long overdue. Just impactful, I thought Dalvin was. 34 yards all-purpose. Could have had a little bit more all-purpose yards there. Didn't have great execution on that last screen call. Otherwise, I thought we might have been able to turn that one into an explosive. But I thought Kirk played really efficient. We were plus 2 turnover-wise, how we look at it, including that muffed punt in the special teams area, and then ultimately to be able to be 5 of 5 in the red zone and good enough on third down to control the ball enough. I still think there's a lot of things that I can continue to improve on, as well as our team, and the best thing is those guys are the ones talking like that in the locker room already. So once again, an incredible atmosphere here at US Bank Stadium. It is so special to get to play in this place in front of our great fans, and just how much they impact the game every single week. We're very, very lucky to have this home environment that we do, and it's really equaled some winning football for us here at home. With that, I'll open it up to you guys.
Is the ability to win these close games, these tight games, is that the greatest strength of this team?
I just think we talk a lot about doing the little things right. We did have a high number of penalties today, I thought, but we were plus in the turnover margin again to continue to grow that number, which is our goal to do. I think when I look at it, there's always ways we can improve. There's always ways we can sustain and play better football throughout 4 quarters. But the feeling you get on our sideline, in our locker room, no matter what the circumstances are, I do feel like these guys believe in each other. They believe in what we're doing, and ultimately they believe that we're one play away from being where we want to be if the momentum maybe isn't on our side. And that's a proud feeling for a coach, because when you know these guys are feeling that, you have a chance to overcome a lot of the adversity that's out in front of us to where we want to get to.
Kevin, how about that continued knack of coming up with those big plays when you have to? I mean, you mentioned the turnovers and Jordan Hicks stopped
huge.
A few inches short, but you just have that continued knack to do that in games.
I think our coaches are preparing our guys for those critical moments. That you mentioned the turnovers, both Cam Bynum and Harrison Smith getting those interceptions in the deep part of the field. I think it's huge for our team. A great example of what our defense can be when our front is physical and slow down a good rushing attack with a real weapon at the quarterback position to kind of hold them from really getting those explosive runs that they're accustomed to getting to kind of fuel their whole offense. It allowed us to play a little bit more coverage, have a plan for Hopkins. He's a special player. And then obviously Pat P, I think 3 more pass defense for him. I think that's 10 total for the season against his former team. Jordan Hicks, that play he mentioned. You can go on and on. I mean, we're going to just need to continue to make those timely winning plays. And then throughout the game, how many of those can we make to maybe not always make it so close in the end, playing complementary football.
Jordan Hicks talked a little bit in the locker room about how this team has come together so quickly and how that's an uncommon thing. And he attributed a lot of that to just guys knowing the overall plan and knowing what's supposed to happen from the top down. I guess from your perspective, how has that contributed to the start so far?
Well, every single week we talk to our team about what it's going to take to win the game. Real, definitive things, not just coach speak. I don't stand up there. I mean, we talk about playing smart and limited penalties and situational masters and being plus 2 in the turnover is always our goal. But it's more than that. It's how are we going to win the game? What are the things that we've got to really focus on in all 3 phases to win the football game each and every week? And when you do that to a smart football team that has great leadership, you'd be shocked at how much you see those things come to life. And then when you're able to highlight, hey, we talked about it was going to take this, that, or the other, and then show them this team doing that, it's great to win football games for your overall growth, but when you do it like that, I do think you can take some significant steps forward because it only improves your preparation if they know that these are major things we got to do, and we got to, hit the nail on the head when we give them those pieces of information.
What were some of the things that you guys kind of highlighted this week, and which ones did you see come to fruition today?
Yeah, we wanted to try to limit the run game on some of those early downs defensively against their offense, so we could allow the rush and coverage to work together. And then ultimately, when that rush and coverage happened, how could we contain Kyler? I have so much respect for the playmaker that he is. In the pass game, I mean, there's multiple times where he's able to create off schedule. They got Hopkins back. They add Robbie Anderson. Zach Ertz has been a big-time player in this game for a long time. So you really have to focus snap in and snap out without any kind of let up, which I thought our guys did. And then offensively, we wanted to run the football. We wanted to run the football, get back to being efficient. I think we had 15 10-plus yard plays today, some explosive runs, which were nice. And then ultimately, the situational finishing with points against a team like that is really, really important. So the 5 of 5 in the red zone was huge.
Kevin, how special is Za'Darius' ability to play both outside and dominate inside?
Yeah, it's huge because it's really hard to have a protection plan for a guy that can be in any one of 5 spots up front. We can use him to manipulate the protection call if we want. We could use him to try to isolate somebody in protection if we want. And then how does everybody else play off of that? Linebackers included. Saw 33 Brian in there a little bit just to continue to allow our athletes to kind of show up in some of those downs, especially against a quarterback like that. So I can't speak enough. Za'Darius clearly a game ball again. The 3 sacks. Right before that last play he made, I went over and asked him, and I said, hey, I need one more. And he goes out and gets it, and he was the first one to tell me about it.
Kevin, you guys have been really healthy this year, when you look at, inactive as the guys not starting. Do you attribute that to anything, and do you pay attention to that much? Because you haven't had a lot of missed starters or missed games.
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to any of the other 31 teams. I know we all go through our own challenges out there. It's a grueling schedule week in and week out in this league, trying to get your team turned over. But what I will tell you is I'm very, very confident in how we prepared our team coming into the season with really no stone unturned of how and why we did the things that we did. And then ultimately the players taking it. And it's only so much to lay out a plan for players unless, there's that buy-in and understanding of their own role in their own personal health and their preparation week in and week out. It's much, much more than X's and O's. We've got an unbelievable sports performance staff, strength staff, just the resources that we get from our ownership in our great building here at home. We feel like, we can accomplish a lot and prevent a lot at the same time. Now, injuries are going to happen. That's just the NFL, and we just try to do what we can control, on our standards and by living up to our standards with what we do for these players and how they respond with what they do to prepare every week.
You've talked about some.
I know that's a long answer, but I'm very proud of what our building and what our guys have been able to do.
You talked about some of the plays today by Peterson and Hicks. Did you see kind of an extra oomph for anything? They're going against their former teams and that sort of thing?
I did. Both Jordan and Patrick, I think today meant they all mean a lot, but I could feel it from both those guys. And it got a little chippy out there at times between, their side and ours, and those are 2 of our leaders. I mean, obviously Patrick Peterson is one of our captains, but Jordan Hicks is a former captain of that football team over there. So when you wear a C for any team in this league, that carries a lot of weight as far as both with your teammates and with maybe your former teammates. So I think it meant a lot to him to play well. He did, made that great tackle on 4th down, and Pat P, like I said, continues to show up. Really proud of those guys. They both got game balls as well.
What do you think worked well for you guys in the red zone today, going 5 of 5 down there?
The first rushing touchdown being our quarterback, he's talked a lot about, when people don't account for the quarterback, just what can he be as that kind of 6th eligible to go get us what he can. And he was just trying to steal a 1st down and found himself in the end zone. Unbelievably huge play on our first drive to go get that touchdown. We're able to get a couple other rushing touchdowns, kind of not needing to get all the way down to the 1-yard line. I got to continue to have trust that we can run it in and be physical down there. And then 2 touchdown passes, where one of which we got big and the illusion of a run and found somebody pretty open again. And then 3rd down, tight coverage, all-out pressure. Kirk makes a great protection call. KJ Osborne in that moment making a huge play that those that came out to training camp and those that have seen us in some of these games, they've seen that concept before. Our opponents probably seen it before, but that level of execution is what was the secret to making that go at that moment when we had to have it.
Talk about the illusion. How satisfying is it when you maybe lean on previous looks that you've shown in other games and use this motion, just various kind of deceptiveness to set up those scores in the red zone?
Yeah, it's huge. That's what marrying the run and the pass is all about. Those mantras and those philosophies matter in situational football, especially when you are a team that wants to, be diverse in the red zone and apply a lot of different types of pressure to the defense. But when that field shrinks, some of the illusion can kind of be hard to come by sometimes if you don't have the ability to run it or protect in the pass game. And that 5 of 5 is a credit to all of those guys. And really, when I think back on any times we've had lapses in the red zone, it's really been by our own doing, in my opinion. And I think that's really serves us well moving forward to know the types of things we can activate down there.
What did you think of JJ's catch in traffic on third down?
Yeah, it was huge. We were kind of just seeing how they were playing on third down. Clearly had a plan to play with great leverage, tough leverage for him. So that defender is in a form of man coverage on him, but will stand about a half yard to a yard outside and not let him outside. Why? Because there's somebody coming to join the party, and he sees that a lot. And so what he did was he was able to kind of not worry about fighting to win the leverage. I'm just going to be in attack mode. And what I loved was Kirk's willingness to put that ball up at that moment to, our best player when we had to have it. And he made an unbelievable catch right there. But I give Kirk a lot of credit. And when we can hold up and give Kirk time, he's proven to make those throws for us.
You mentioned winning plays. Are there some parameters you set for winning plays, or do you say if a guy wins, beats his opponent?
No, it's what it is. It's the winning plays in critical moments that we look at. It's not always, the fourth quarter or the end of the first half, end of the second half. Sometimes it could be a winning play in my mind is when your quarterback scrambles for a touchdown against kind of a single high man look where they're not accounting for him. That's a winning play in my mind. Jordan Hicks, it won't go on the stat sheet as a turnover, but that tackle a half yard short, being where he needs to be at that moment to make that play, winning play. And then special teams, obviously, accounting for that, that extra turnover there with the fumble recovery by Troy Dye. Those guys have been huge for us. We'll continue to search for those plays as much as possible, but I'm really proud of our team, proud of our fans. Another unbelievable experience here at US Bank. Good for us, really hard for our opponent, and we're hoping to have that each and every time we get to play here. Thank you, guys.